Hello, and welcome to this year's Heritage Week event for Roscommon County Council. Dig the archaeological experience for children. My name is Alan Healy, and I'm an archaeologist working for Archaeological Management Solutions. We are currently working on a big road project in Roscommon, and you were here to help me. The TAI and local councils like Roscommon County Council are the groups who pay for big road projects like this. For those of you who've excavated with us in the past, you will know that safety is very important, being an archaeologist. So we can still pretend like we're in the field. So if you have a high-vis vest or a hard hat, feel free to put them on. If not, it's okay. As always, we would start with a brief introduction into Irish archaeology. I will do a quick run through some of the stages of archaeological investigation we do as archaeologists in the field. It is then you will begin your virtual dig and complete your paperwork as usual. There are a few additional documents for download. This can be done after you've watched the video. So, what is archaeology? Archaeology is the study of human activity through the recovery and analysis of material culture. The archaeological record consists of artifacts, ecofacts, architecture, and cultural landscapes, or just stuff. Sometimes we work with diggers and small tools like our trowels. Here is just a simple approximate breakdown of the periods of Irish archaeology. The Stone Age begins around 10,500 BC to about 2,500 BC. Then we begin to see the use of metals such as copper, gold, and bronze. This is known as the Bronze Age, and it runs from 2500 BC to 500 BC. Then the Iron Age from 500 BC to 432 AD. It's called the Iron Age because that's when they started using iron. The early medieval period from 432 AD is when St. Patrick landed in the country. And that goes to 1169 AD, to when the Normans came into the country. This is known as the medieval period. And that runs to about 1550 AD. Then we have the post-medieval period, which runs to 1850 AD. And anything after that, you can ask the oldest person you know. Desk-based research is a very important part of our job as archaeologists. Here are just a few websites that can give you a little bit of information about the area you live in or anywhere else that is of interest to you or your family. An additional sheet with links is available to download with the information below. The project we are currently working on is the N5 Ballahidrine to Scramog Road project, running through Roscommon. I have circled some of the larger towns that you will recognise so you have an idea of the route of the new road. Underneath my hat is Strokestone. It is information gathered from this project that will make up our virtual excavation. Geophysical surveys can be very useful in identifying archaeology even before we get the diggers in. The technique being used here is magnetometry. This helps us see underneath the grass. Here we can see the results of a larger survey done by Earth Sound on the N5 route back in 2015. Some of you watching this may not even have been born when this was done. Here is one of the center lines of the test trenches that are done by the digger. We follow the digger along as he digs the trench looking for archaeology. This is an example of one of the sites being excavated. All these ditches and lines in the ground have been dug by hand, so using a shovel and a wheelbarrow to take away the spoil. The road you see is the road from Boyle to Tulsk. And the job must always go on, so we work in all weather, even snow. I will now show you just a couple of features that have been excavated on the project. Here is what is known as a souterrain, which is an underground passage or chamber. Here is a grave with human remains that has been truncated by later activity, leaving the skeleton disturbed and not in its original position. Polytunnels, as you may recognize them from gardens around the country. They're not only used to grow vegetables, sometimes we use them on sensitive archaeology, such as this Bronze Age roundhouse. Once features are excavated to certain stages, we record and draw, similar to what you will be doing in a few minutes. Post-excavation work is done once the site is completed. Samples that have been taken during the excavation in these buckets are washed and sieved. The material is then dried, sorted and sent to specialists. Here is your recording sheet and skeleton sheet, which are available to download. If you do not have a printer, do not worry. You can use any bit of paper or notebook. We do this in the field all the time. For those of you who are not familiar with the recording process, I will run through this with you now. So we have the Dig It archaeological recording sheet. You can put your name, your age, the site is the N5 excavation, and it's the summer of 2020. Whether it's an artifact or a feature you're drawing, you can describe it there, what you think it was used for, and you can draw it underneath. The skeleton sheet will help you identify the bones of the skeleton once you get to the human remains. These sheets are for your own record, so you remember what you virtually dug on the N5 project. To complete your task today, choose one or two artifacts or features and record them. I would suggest that you watch the video in its entirety, and you can go back and pause it on whatever you like to record. Here is the beginning of the artifacts. So on the left is a flint blade, and on the right is a flint arrowhead. Here are two polished stone axes. This is a silver brooch, and you can see the designs within the interior of it. Here is a doorknob with the face on it, and again it has designs around the edge on the outside. Here we have a silver penny from the time of Edward I. This is a bone toothbrush found near one of the cottages. Here we have a wooden bowl that was found in a well. I have given you a second picture so you can draw it with ease. Here is the remains of an adult human. And you remember seeing the souterrain earlier. Sometimes humans and animals were buried in the souterrains, or maybe got stuck. This is the skeleton of a dog. And we're on to the planning the sites and features part of the presentation. So as you can see here, it's a large site with circles and lines, squares and rectangles. This is the foundation of an old cottage, maybe similar to something that your great-grandparents lived in. Here is an arrangement of stones within one of the slots from the roundhouses that you've seen earlier. This is the last feature. You can now get ready to go back and record all the stuff that you found. Congratulations for completing all your recording. You may now download your certificate. Have a lovely day. And thank you for participating in this year's Heritage Week event for Roscommon County Council. You've done a great job.